Howdy guys, welcome back to another one. As you can see by my face, I'm still dealing with some extreme heat in here. Speech is starting to slur, starting to have a heat stroke, but I'm sure we'll make it through it. Anyway, what we're doing today is an 8 pellet shell of double-aught buck in 16 gauge. Yep, we're using true 33 cal double-aught here, hard cast lead. Normally when I put these together I like 10 pellets, but I figured some people might want a little bit lighter load, maybe something for home defense, so that's what we're doing here. Now, this is a pretty simple assembly. We are using this wondrous powder right here, my favorite, 26. Using a 2 3/4 inch Rio hull. If you don't have Rios, a Shaddai or Fiocchi will work just fine. Nothing to worry about there. But next, the Obturator 16 gas seal. These are symmetrical. Use them either way. There is no top, there is no bottom. On top of that, we're going to use a 1/2 inch 16 gauge waxed hard card. If you don't have these, felt or fiber cushion will work too. I happen to like the waxed hard cards the best, and that's what I have on hand. And after that, 8 pellets of, again, 33 cal double-aught. These are tumbled and polished. Not powder coated though. And lastly, of course, we're going to use some ITX buffer here. This has been rebranded to BSB buffer, but it is the same thing. I have about half a can of this one left, and then we're going to be using the BSB or original number 47 from there on out. Sadly, this is gone, but it is the same product as BSB. I've said this before, but I'll say it again. 16 gauge and double-aught are a match made in heaven. Just run you a full choke and I'm sure you'll get some good patterns. However, this is going to be running upwards of 1400 FPS, and as we've proved in a previous video, higher velocity buckshot does not tend to pattern as well as stuff around 1100, 1200. So just keep that in mind. This is going to be a higher velocity assembly. I love putting together 16 gauge. As you guys know, it's my favorite gauge, but to get this started, there's that, and these go together really quick. Obturator 16, 1/2 inch waxed hard card. Get that in place. Next, 8 pellets of 33 cal double-aught. Double-aught is obviously the most popular size. I don't know why, but it is. Okay, and once you have those stacked evenly by twos, which I struggled with, I don't know why, but go ahead and get you some buffer in there if you want to use buffer. Now, 8 pellets of hard cast double-aught weighs right below 1 ounce. It's like 0.96. So the buffer is going to bring it up to an even ounce, if not just a hair more. And once you have your buffer settled, go ahead and top that with a nitro card or any overshot card you have. I guess we're doing an 8-point on this one because I have the Rabasator set in front, which is the 6-point. Need a little bit more pre-crimp on that. And there we go. We have our pre-crimp established. Now this is a Guyper Rabasator, and I'll show you what that does. A little bit more. Check that out. It needs a little bit more, but you can see it forming that little crease right around the center of the crimp. Let's give it a little bit more. There we go. That's what I was looking for. Now, all that's left to do is final crimp it. And it's going to look great. And here's the end result. As you can see, we do have a deep set crimp. No chance of that popping back open. And overall, a really nice looking crimp. That is 8 pellets of double-aught, moving about 1400 FPS. That is a good home defense option if you want to use buckshot, and for the guys that like high velocity at that. I personally don't really like using the idea of using large pellets, which do tend to overpenetrate a lot worse than stuff like number 4 buck, even BBs, lead BB. Yeah, that's what I would use for home defense, not double-aught. 1 ounce is the standard payload, but I prefer 1.25 ounces. That's just me though. Now, if this pattern's good out of your guys' setup, obviously this would make a great deer hunting round, a great hog round, And just for what it's worth, 33 cal double aught is not the biggest size you can use in 16 gauge. It would be 34 cal double aught plus, stacked by twos. And 34 cal tends to pattern pretty well out of 16 too.